much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say?
I'm in space.
I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry.
I'm in space.
The end.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm usually joined by two of my favorite Wednesday show hosts, Jen T. Maxey in Canada and Terry Diamantis down under. You can find us on Rumble every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring in YouTube at 9 p.m. to simulcast on YouTube as well. Hope you have time to stop by.
So much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say?
I'm in space.
I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry.
I'm in space.
The end.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm usually joined by two of my favorite Wednesday show hosts, Jen T. Maxey in Canada and Terry Diamantis down under. You can find us on Rumble every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring in YouTube at 9 p.m. to simulcast on YouTube as well. Hope you have time to stop by.
So much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say?
I'm in space.
I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry.
I'm in space.
The end.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm usually joined by two of my favorite Wednesday show hosts, Jen T. Maxey in Canada and Terry Diamantis down under. You can find us on Rumble every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring in YouTube at 9 p.m. to simulcast on YouTube as well. Hope you have time to stop by.
So much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say?
I'm in space.
I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry.
I'm in space.
The end.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm usually joined by two of my favorite Wednesday show hosts, Jen T. Maxey in Canada and Terry Diamantis down under. You can find us on Rumble every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring in YouTube at 9 p.m. to simulcast on YouTube as well. Hope you have time to stop by.
So much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say?
I'm in space.
I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry.
I'm in space.
The end.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm usually joined by two of my favorite Wednesday show hosts, Jen T. Maxey in Canada and Terry Diamantis down under. You can find us on Rumble every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring in YouTube at 9 p.m. to simulcast on YouTube as well. Hope you have time to stop by.
So much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say?
I'm in space.
I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry.
I'm in space.
The end.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm usually joined by two of my favorite Wednesday show hosts, Jen T. Maxey in Canada and Terry Diamantis down under. You can find us on Rumble every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring in YouTube at 9 p.m. to simulcast on YouTube as well. Hope you have time to stop by.
So much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space.
I'm in space.
I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say?
I'm in space.
I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous. And I am genuinely sorry.
I'm in space.
The end.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday Show. I'm Hammer, and I'm usually joined by two of my favorite Wednesday Show hosts, Jen T. Maxey in Canada and Terry DeMantis down under. You can find us on Rumble every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and then we bring in YouTube at 9.
Minions of the Zoo. In space. Tonight's episode, Murder for Hire.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Minions of the Zoo in Space. We're taking over for Sanguine tonight. The first Friday in February will be Mr. Adam, and then we'll be back the first Friday in March, which I believe is the 7th. So keep that in count. But I'm your keeper for tonight, Tyr Alexander, and I'm here with my friends. Wait a minute, where you go? Mitch Nemo, Willie Forge,
I'm dreaming something else.
Critical Thinkers Guild,
It's beginning to look a lot like fuck this.
and Dan Scott,
Everywhere we go.
and Old Man James.
My friends, too.
They're not your friends.
James is like Old Man Riverdance.
and
Yeah.
Tragic Gardner. Yo, Tragic.
Hey, I decided not to drive into the power pole that I've chose.
Gee,
call.
thanks.
Disavow.
Someday.
In honor of New Orleans, will one of y'all just drive your ship straight into something?
No,
What, too soon?
too soon.
Never.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before we got started on this stream, we were talking about dumbasses that bring politics into everything. I'm doing the TF pick one. And we were talking about the situation with Critical Thinkers Guild and Birdman, and we were talking about the situation between Never Watch Alone and Blinky Productions.
Blinky 500.
Yeah, Blinky 500. And how,
His YouTube channel. His name is Chris something.
yeah. So for me and for Never Watch Alone, I'll give you the whole rundown of the situation. He After the election, he said he wasn't going to make a U.S. agent film because he was just like, fan film, and he was like, oh God, I'm tired of Trump supporters and whatnot. And granted, Mitch saw this, and I was scrolling through the thing when I saw it in my feed, and I saw Mitch had replied, and so I'm like, so wait a minute, you're gonna just say half your fan base, fuck you to half your fan base because you don't like who they voted for? And he goes, yes, I fucking hate him. Okay. On behalf of my team, we can't watch your shit. you just simply said you fucking hate us.
Yeah, how did he put it? He actually said, he pulled a Will Smith and said, keep my content out of your fucking mouth.
Essentially, yes. Again,
He did?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and then
I
he
forgot the
flagged
page
us.
4 thing.
He copyright struck us.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, on
Yes.
YouTube.
Yeah, on
makes
YouTube.
Understand this.
That's a
He
false
makes fan
copyright
films.
strike.
He holds no copyrights
Well, I mean, he holds a copyright to his actual content.
to his original stuff.
Yeah,
yes,
but we didn't touch his
we
original
didn't
stuff.
violate Title 17 because
No, we didn't.
We do commentary and review. What we're
Dude,
doing
Ours
is
was
technically for
ours was
educational
clearly
purposes.
fair use.
Yes, exactly.
Who
And-
shot me?
I don't know.
The Bjorg.
New York, and whatnot, and you were telling me how Birdman is being an ass because of the election. And he hates white people, and
Yeah, he essentially does. He's like,
And-
oh, I've hated Trump since before the election. I was like, no, you haven't.
you,
You even
you,
admitted it on a video that you said that Trump was well liked before he ran for office.
and that's the problem. People don't seem to understand. Again, shocker to everybody here. I'm fucking black, and I could care.
Oh, yeah, we didn't know that.
That's why I said shocker to everybody here. But I don't understand the whole victim mentality, especially when someone has a proven track record of fucking helping the black quote unquote community.
Oh, exactly. That you can actually go back and check.
Yes, and how like people that were his friends, like Whoopi Goldberg, who before he officially ran, hugged and kissed him when he was on The View that time, and she was saying she missed being with him. Again, and then out of nowhere when he ran as a Republican, oh, he's a monster. He's always been a monster.
Yeah, somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
Mhm.
Fucking Oprah. Oprah was his friend for a long ass fucking time.
So is Al Sharpton.
Yeah, so was Al Sharpton.
Oh, the biggest
All these
price
other
bidder in the
prominent
world.
black actors.
Yeah.
All
Shit.
these other prominent black people.
Jesse Jackson's original run for president was financed by Donald Trump.
And it's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hilarious isn't quite the word I'd choose.
It's clearly NPC programming.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
On the same stripe, what people within the LGBT whatever everything
Alphabet Mafia.
the Alphabet Mafia, they keep saying that Trump is going to do so many awful things to him to the point that you got some of them out there actually like racing out to get their passports before they think they're canceled.
Oh no! Did you hear about
you realize he was president before, don't you?
I got one better for you.
don't
Some
care
guy
about that.
killed his fucking family because they were so terrified of what he. Like,
I saw that, yeah.
Wait. That's what the paperwork said.
He
This
probably was
woman
fucking crazy anyway.
killed her entire family. Killed her dad.
Oh
and
yeah.
her brother.
I'm just saying that when they use Trump as an excuse for that. Number one, I don't know if it's the person who's doing the killing using President Trump as an excuse,
Or the person trying to
if
make
it's
a
the FBI.
statement. Somebody trying to make a statement. I get
I
it.
think it's the investigator / FBI trying to gin up
Like
political
saying the devil made me
discord.
do it.
Discord.
And shit, remember the woman that poisoned her husband because Trump told him to drink
Oh, drink bleach.
drink
No,
Well,
it's this,
actually wasn't what he said at all.
hydrochloric.
Chloroquine.
Bleach.
No, it's the ivermectin.
No. It wasn't ivermectin. It was
It was the
fish cleaner.
hydroxychloroquine.
Yeah,
So
hydroxychloroquine.
They did fish tank cleaner, and she gave him a very big dose. She gave herself a very small dose. It was a premeditated murder.
Yup.
You just looked at how can I blame this on somebody else?
Yep.
You know,
But
how
she
can-
still
how
got
can I
caught.
make this into
Hello, Dr. Functional.
Still functional.
What's up?
I
You're
can't
not a
get
doctor.
you over the sound of spreading democracy.
Yeah.
Hell divers.
That's another one I'm tired. I'm tired of these assholes talking about democracy. America's not a democracy.
We're a republic.
No, we're not.
Hell divers is.
Constitutional republic. The founding fathers properly hated and feared democracy for the evil it is.
Yes.
Yes.
You know how I like to phrase it? Democracy is the wedge used by tyrants to separate the people from their liberty.
Democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting for what's for dinner, and republic is a
Two
well-armed
wolves fucking
sheep
each other in the ass.
contesting the vote.
Talking about democracy,
Yes.
because I got Will and Mitch. I don't want to bogart the whole show, but I wanted to run this by y'all.
Okay.
Oklahoma has a method where you can petition. So if you get enough, you can fill out a petition, and you can have things put on the ballot to either become state law or amend the Constitution.
Okay.
So there's two thresholds to get it put on the ballot for state law. Which, if it's a state law, that means the legislature can repeal it. The threshold is 95,000 signatures.
Okay.
Okay. To do as a constitutional amendment, which means the legislature cannot repeal it.
I want to make a clarification. That's a state constitution amendment.
Yeah, this is
Yes.
state. This is the state of Oklahoma.
Yes.
To do this, they have to have 155,000 signatures.
Okay.
The state legislature is wanting to change the rules on the constitutional amendment one, saying that because it's just registered voters, that means that petitioners can just stay in Oklahoma County and Tulsa County and get that many and affect the entire state.
No.
So they want to make it where they have to have the petition has to have a percentage of registered voters in every county before it becomes voted in as a constitutional amendment.
I agree.
Okay,
That sounds smart.
question in regards to that.
In the petition.
So they have to go out and ask the counties what they feel about it. They can't just stay in the city and ask the city.
Yeah, they have to go to every county, which is like, all the way up into the Panhandle, where you got a couple thousand people, and all the way down to in Oklahoma County, which is 1.5 million.
I can agree to that sentiment. That's unfair that the valley is telling the city is telling the valley how to live.
I mean,
Question in that tragic.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, we should have an electoral college type system
in the
for
states.
state legislation as well. For state elections as well.
The question I have there for Travis is those places those two cities that by themselves can demonstrate enough votes to get it on the ballot for a constitutional amendment. Do they represent enough votes to have that passed as a constitutional amendment without the other, without other parts of the state having any input?
Well, to pass as a constitutional amendment in the vote, when it comes to the general vote, it has to only have 51%. Oklahoma County and Tulsa County is 60% of Oklahoma's population.
Then they should be. It should require getting beyond, a majority beyond just the.
Beyond a simple majority, it should be like a 2/3 or 3/4.
Yeah, it should either be a super majority of the state or a majority of the voters plus a majority of the counties.
Now, see, I think they should follow the electoral college model when it comes to state constitutional amendments. If they're to be ratified by the people, then I think the petition process should follow the electoral college model, where you should have the petitioner should be a percentage of each county, or a certain number of voters in each county.
And that's kind of what the petition's going to be. It's going to, if they change it, the petitions will be, I think it's at least 2% of registered voters.
Okay.
Per county.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's enough to get it on the ballot.
Which, I mean, in Beaver County, that you just walk into a Dollar General, you got that. So.
Yep.
But I kind of I listened to it and I'm like, on one hand, yeah, it makes sense for the constitutional amendment.
Yes.
Because it is very difficult for them to be repealed.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, like I said, the 95,000 is for state questions, which is basic. Just it carries the same as if it was legislature passed by the legislature and the governor.
Right.
It is the same, which means it could also be repealed by the legislature and governor or modified by them.
Okay.
And that causes a lot of problems when it comes to the modification of the state question, because they tried to change after it passed by the state. They tried to change the medical marijuana at last minute, and it did not go over very well.
No, of course not.
But
see, the way I would set up those rules is let's say I wanted to amend the state constitution with my one issue, one bill amendment, because that's a good rule for state legislation as well as federal. Now, if I wanted to do that and I got the signatures, there should be a provision in the process that states that the amendment to the state constitution must be voted upon as written in its petition to the people. So you can't slide in any bullshit at the 11th hour, and you can't reword it to favor your political party or your political agenda or anything like that.
And really need to get rid of what they do in Michigan, where you have them saying, this amendment, this bill, this amendment will do this, will do this, will do this, will do this, will do this. They don't put the actual wording of it in what you're voting for.
Right. Yeah, it's in legalese.
And then you have people say, and then you have like the groups against and for the bill who are doing it will do this, no, it will do this, it won't do that. And then you'll have the ones that are supporting it, but know that some of the stuff that it actually will do, some of the stuff it says right in, even in the
synopsis,
this is what this will do, our non-starters go out there and say, well, it's not going to do that, it's going to do this. And I'm like, get bent. The language of it says it's going to eliminate, for example, when they added a constitutional amendment eliminating abortion bans in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
The language of it said that it would
reproductive health.
No.
No, I'm talking about from Maryland.
It said specifically, one, it will repeal all restrictions on abortion, period, and make any law restricting abortion void. And some of those laws are things like doctors have to do in this case, doctors can't do in this case, this situation must be reported, stuff like that. And they're like, no, it doesn't get rid of this, it doesn't limit that, it doesn't get rid of that restriction, it doesn't No, it says it's going to eliminate this. It's going to remove any law that limits this. Some of those limits are in ages.
Yep.
Hey, you can't have a doctor give an abortion to a 13 or 14-year-old and not report it. No, you can't have any restrictions. You can't have any requirements. It's, well, what is it? Is it what you're saying, or is it what it says? Now give it to us in plain language what the actual wording of it is, and stop lying about it. I think any group that actually says that what it says in the plain language isn't actually what it is should get hit with serious repercussions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, again, going back to my one issue, one bill amendment, it takes up what? It takes up, I think, fewer than 10 lines of text on a page. It's very short.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that kind of an amendment is that everything subsequent, every bit of legislation subsequent to that amendment's passage and ratification is going to be much simpler for people to review, because it's not going to be 1,500 pages. And it's not going to include anything that is not related to the subject of the bill.
Yes.
And I really hate that about modern politics in general, where they just they make these humongous bills, right? They make these bills with
so much
500
fucking
pages,
pork.
1,000 pages. Yes, there's so much fluff in these bills, and when you go to find the thing that you want in this bill, it's like halfway in this, or it's in the middle, or it's somewhere near where you're not going to
It's somewhere on
read it.
page 791.
It's in the penumbra of the antechambers.
I'm all for an amendment that says that no bill is allowed to be so long
more than
that
like
it cannot
20
be,
pages.
that it cannot be read by a single person in 20 or 30 minutes.
I don't know about that. My only reservation there is that some issues are complicated.
Maybe that limit's too short and everything, but you get to the Congress people are only giving themselves X amount of time before they are voting on the bill. The president's only given so long to either sign or veto it before it, if they don't do either, it becomes law by default and everything. Put a limit on there so that if it's, if you can't reasonably sit down and read it and have time to consider before signing it, it can't be written. Maybe it's complicated. Maybe you have to say 8 hours.
I got a proposal for everything.
Let's say, for example, you have to list all the things that qualify as a Schedule 1 narcotic. That's not a short list.
Fair enough.
No.
You can't just say anything that makes you do this, because shit, that's vague.
Yeah, but you can read the list of Schedule 1 narcotics. I could probably read that, just off a guess. I could probably read the list in
right, but my point is, when you start
20 minutes, I mean, Mrs. Forge had to have the list memorized for it to be a pharmacy tech.
When you write that kind of legislation, not only do you have to include the Schedule 1 narcotic, but you have to include everything else too. You have to be specific about legislation so that there's no gray area that can be converted to tyranny.
Yeah, I'm saying it's got to be reasonable.
Well, yeah, the reasonability thing is one issue, one bill.
But you've got to have a certain amount of reasonability beyond that, because, like I said, they've only got so long
to read it.
Read it.
In that case, we need to have a specified time frame per X amount of pages. If it winds up being 10 pages, maybe you have to have 5 days to review it.
Yeah, something like that.
I got one. I got one for y'all. This one is something I want. I want that unless you pass there are no more there are no more continuing resolutions. There are no more you know stopgaps stopgaps and extensions. You have to actually pass a fucking budget.
Oh yeah, I've got
I
that in
don't
there.
say. I think the only reason why they're getting away with not doing that so far is because nobody actually wants to hold them account to their legal obligation. It's not
Right.
legal for them not to pass a budget.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. See, that's our system includes penalties for them not passing a budget. $1,000 per day for the
We have
entire for
investigated
each member of
ourselves.
Congress. If they don't pass a budget by a certain date, they get fined $1,000 per day. Each member of the Congress.
It's a
I wish.
Might
That'd be
say
nice.
you
Yeah.
might have to increase the fine, because part of the whole thing is it. If
They
they
need to
don't
hurt.
pass a budget, they shouldn't get paid. So for what a,
Well, you see,
if their pay has gone up high enough,
What a right.
it should be changed so that hey, if you don't pass a budget, your entire pay for that day is seized.
well, look, we have an amendment covering constitutional compensation, or I'm sorry, congressional compensation as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, true. You're cutting their compensation, so that would actually be a more.
Well, no, we made their compensation dependent
not
upon
cutting it.
how well the median income of the United States of the United States citizen is.
Or their state
Well, that is
representative
let's
state.
face it,
Yeah.
that is a pay cut for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they start with a base pay, and if they write legislation that is harmful to the American people, business-wise, then their pay is naturally going to go down because their pay is reviewed regularly.
Their pay being based on the U.S. median income would be a pay cut for them right now anyway.
Yes. Yes.
Most of them become millionaires.
What is
Just,
the
you
U.S. medium income? I haven't looked.
Well, that's just it. We don't have much of it. We have the census that might give us a clue, but I don't think the Congressional Budget Office or anyone really does.
Somebody hitting a vape.
You know what? No.
Oh, it's probably my, you're hearing my
Oxygen.
oxygen machine.
Oh, okay, because it sounds like somebody hitting a vape. I'm not gonna lie.
Holy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't vape. He just smokes.
Ha!
I mean, I do.
Gotta make them mad clowns, boy.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I got census.gov, a number here for you.
Okay.
Real median household income was $80,610 in 2023.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice. That's a little bit higher than I thought.
No, see.
Yeah, but it's still
Well,
significantly lower than congressional salaries.
Hold on. Inflation. Because it jumped 4%. And they're like, oh, median income jumped 4%. It jumped 4% from 2022 because inflation.
Yeah, unfortunately,
We get rid of all.
we still made 40,000 more than that, approximately.
See, when we use the system that we developed, under the system the way it is now, Congress just votes itself a raise.
Yeah, and that's unfair. Like,
Under
how
the
do you vote
system
yourself
we
a fucking
developed,
race?
Congress's pay is flexible based on how well the people in the United States are doing themselves. So if they write legislation that is harmful to the business environment in the United States, they get a pay cut by default. See, our system inspires them because we already know that they're greedy. So we use the greed against them. We use that greed to make sure that they write legislation that is healthy for the American business environment.
You want more money? You need to work harder.
Well,
wish that was how it worked.
no, he's got exactly the thing there is because it's one of the reasons why capitalism
Works.
is because it appeals you appeal
Human
to the
greed.
weakest part of people. If you're appealing to their greed, they're going to want to do something that they see as leading to their benefit.
Yep.
If you have a system that it succeeds if they succeed
Vice versa. They succeed.
versus everybody fails together.
I mean,
Well, that's what socialism is. Everybody fails together.
Yeah, there's no
Except
incentive in
for-
a socialist society.
except for
to-
few elites.
No, socialism,
exactly.
the majority fail together. A select few actually rise.
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, honestly, the best thing they could do a lot of times for, you know, the business environment, the economic environment in the United States is, you know, not really doing anything.
The best thing they could do is shut the fuck up and get out the way.
Plus, you know, it's funny. We wrote these amendments as separate things, but they dovetail really nicely together. Because in addition to our congressional pay package being a motivator to write legislation that works for the people of the United States and the business environment of the United States, our tax code kind of does the same thing, because we limit them to no more than 10%.
Mm-hmm.
For every legal entity. Sorry, let me clear that out. And what that does is if the government wants more money, wants a bigger budget, write legislation that is healthy for a business environment in the United States, more businesses open, more people working, more companies being successful, more tax revenue. You can't just raise taxes and tax people into oblivion anymore.
Yeah.
With our system, and that all works. And like I said, this was an accident, but all of this stuff works to create an environment in America where everyone can be exceptional, successful, etc., etc. We might even be able to get rid of things like health insurance, because people could afford to just go to a doctor and get shit handled instead of having to pay for a bureaucracy as well. And, you know, that's not an instant effect, but that's an overtime effect, I think. But that's if you stick to the rules. Our amendments are actually designed to do that kind of stuff. And like I said, it's largely an accident that they dovetail as well as they do. But what we don't do when it comes to legislation in this country is we don't seem to pay attention to the history of the behavior of the legislators and the business interests, and how they always seem to somehow magically work together to enrich each other.
Yeah.
We don't learn the lessons from the breed of politicians, and we really need to start learning that lesson. That's why I like the idea of the people being able to implement an amendment to the state constitution. I would like to see something similar on a federal level.
It would be great, honestly. But I mean, it doesn't happen very often here. And the weirdest thing is, the last time it happened here, it was Medicare expansion.
And I bet the law was complicated. Couldn't be explained in one sitting.
It can be explained in layman's terms.
Yeah. Well, no, they use layman's terms to fool you into voting for it.
Yeah.
Well, they use misrepresenting.
Yes.
In layman's terms, they use deceit and lies in layman's terms.
Yes, exactly.
Let me see if I can pull the language up for you. That way you can look at it. I don't remember it, honestly.
I've got guesses.
Oh, and I told you about what they did with the Michigan constitutional amendment to that. The entire purpose of it was to eliminate any and all restrictions on abortion, to revoke any law that limits abortion in any way and everything. They come back years later after that passed, in part because of their lies, and the probably 8 out of every $10 spent campaigning for specific Democrat Michigan Supreme Court justices on the most recent election was all about they can still take away our abortion rights, but these judges will make sure they don't.
They can't take again.
It's literally based on a constitutional amendment in the state of Michigan that was written and passed through lies. You can't have any restriction on abortion inside the inside Michigan state laws because it's automatically struck by the Constitution. So these judges can't make any difference on it.
You know,
it's the only thing they could argue that this is why these judges are important.
All right, so do you know Tim Pool's theory on stance on abortion? And
he's changed so much over the.
No, he's against it. He's against it, and he says it comes down to the question of personhood. If a baby is indeed a person, it has the same rights as the mother, and it can't be terminated. It's similar to Mitch's position, but he takes a little longer to get there.
May I want to interrupt just real fast. Will, Mitch, I put Wikipedia actually has an entry on State Question 802, and it has the ballot language on it. So if you want to look at it. Go ahead. Here, sorry.
It's all good. So as much as it pains me to say this, I think that we should ban it. It is legal murder without due trial. It should be banned. Without due process. You can't just arbitrarily kill. Like, you had plenty of opportunity before the baby was created to stop the creation of the baby.
I don't think the procedure should be outlawed. Because
the thing
there
is,
are that 0.03 and 1.0% chance that there's a risk to the mother.
But see, that's different. That's different.
Mitch, you don't think it should be outlawed, but you think that there should be a matter of
I think
due process.
I think each case should be adjudicated. Yes, I want due process.
It should be adjudicated. Involved. There should be a legal advocate for the child, things like that, because of the whole you're executing the child.
Because I'm erring on the side of liberty.
Well, not even that. Like, all right, so if you allow for those types of now, the life of the mother should it's not. It should be a decision made by the 3 people involved. If it's going to kill her, if she decides to go through with it, she decides to go through with it. You know, it's her right to say, I would rather my child than me. And it's also her right to say, I'd rather me than her, or the child.
Yeah.
But that's
what is one thing that is not restricted anywhere in this country.
Life of the mother.
In any state, if you have a medical professional saying the mom's going to die if we don't abort the child, there is no state that says that you can't do it. There's no state that says that you have to wait for anything. All it requires is the doctor saying, even the most restrictive states, all it requires is a doctor saying, hey, based, in my medical opinion, based on these factors, mom's going to die if the child's not aborted.
All right,
that is
but
all it takes, even in the most restrictive state.
Even then, I would like to have a second opinion, because again, same with if you allow for the exception of rape claims of rape will go up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have to allow for you'd have to allow for it had to be a second opinion, something that can go, within my expert opinion, based on both reviewing the findings, I agree with the doctor. I agree with the initial assessment.
Well, yeah, the other medical observations are consistent with rape.
Or the other medical observations are consistent with the life of the mother. Now, again,
did that baby rape the mother?
No.
Yeah, and that's the thing is if you're going, my opinion. I've discussed it before on why I don't support the notion of abortion due to rape, but if you're going to agree to that kind of exception to allow it, I'm a lot more in the direction of liberty on that, and that I don't require specifically a medical, specifically a medical finding of rape. Although I'd be all for, I'd be happy to say
More evidence.
they have to have, they have to have the medical review as part of the, a reporting of the crime of rape. They have to have it done and have like some kind of medical stuff that is consistent with rape. The tearing, the bruising, the stuff that is pretty universally consistent. Or like, hey, the simple statutory rape, the kid is this age, which means that any sex is rape.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm talking more along the lines of a grown woman who has sex with a man who, she doesn't think she's pregnant, but eventually she finds out she's pregnant, and now she's claiming rape. No, you have to. There's a process you need to go through. You need, if it was rape, you need to have stated before, the notion of you being pregnant.
We need to get rid of rape shield laws.
I've talked about that in this group before. I know if you're making an exception for rape,
yo, Jen,
I don't agree with that, but I would accept that on just they've reported the rape contemporaneous to when it
occurred,
would have had to have happened, would have had to have occurred with the
statute of limitations as well.
I don't say if you don't, if you find that you are.
I gotta interrupt. You guys, pause. We have fucking discussed this on several different streams.
That's true.
Seriously, we have just rehashed the same argument for 2 hours or more on like 8 different streams. If all honesty, there has to be a culture shift, and it's not just going to be on what's going to be the whole thing for abortion. You have to change people's minds about how to prevent it to begin with, and then go from there.
Rod putting his foot down.
It's not that whole thing. We're going to talk in circles on this.
Yes, we are.
And you guys are just going to rehash the same argument you said 6 minutes ago.
And plus, we basically agreed like 97%.
Yeah.
We do, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, okay. I'll switch topic. We were about to talk about D&D earlier and how the politics have ruined fucking D&D and just every entertainment property.
Politics ruins everything.
I have that. My standard is that politics ruins entertainment.
Yes.
Well, actually, no. Politics doesn't. Activism
does. Like there are some things that are inherent. Like if you're telling the story about a corrupt king, it'll have to get political at some point. It's the nature of the story you're trying to tell. However, if you're telling a story that has no politics, like say you're telling, we'll use Star Wars. If you're telling a Star Wars story, it has nothing tangentially to do with politics.
If you're not going the politics route.
Yeah, if you're telling the story about the Jedi doing shit in far reaches of space where there's no fucking government around, and they're just a story about them doing shit in the far reaches of space, politics shouldn't become a point.
Here, the simplest one to go with for saying you don't want politics in it would be a hero has to come along to slay a beast, an evil creature. There's no politics involved. It just is an animal that acts upon animal instinct.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
People that say that all art is political are mainly because they're not clever enough to actually see something beyond what they've already been told.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to go over my media literacy thing again, But anybody that screams about media literacy, especially on Twitter, they're basically repeating shit that their teachers told them.
Yes.
Or what the author said that they're... Nobody gives a shit what the author thinks.
See, my position is that education is overvalued, especially at the college level, and here's why. Education is there to teach you theories about how things operate, how to do certain things when it comes to biz keeping in business school, for example. This kind of spreadsheet, it's used for this purpose in your day-to-day business, blah blah blah. But that's not the only way to do that. Schools are great for teaching theory, but life has other plans.
They're good for doing it on paper, not on practice.
You have to balance the theory you were taught with a practical experience, because the experience is going to be different in, let's say you get a business degree. Okay, cool. Now you got a business degree. Does that qualify you to run a restaurant?
No.
Does that qualify you to run a tattoo parlor?
No.
No. You have to know things about those specific businesses to know how to apply the theory you have been taught. You can't just go in and say, I have this degree, I know how to run a business. It doesn't work that way.
Especially if you're new.
Even if you're running like a specialty restaurant where all you do is pizza, you got to know a lot of fucking shit. You got to know shit about your customers. About your customer base. You got to know shit about the product you're making, and you got to know shit about why the product works and where it fails.
There was a lecture that's
case in point.
There was a lecture that Steve Jobs gave, and he was talking about when he was at Apple, and everybody started deciding, it's like, wait a minute, we need business people that come in and help us run this thing. We don't have any administration people. We don't have any management. We don't have any business trained people. And if you look at what happened to Apple computers from 1989 to about 1999, when it was being ran by non-computer people, people that had MBAs, and they picked somebody from Pepsi, for Christ's sake. Their first non-Apple CEO came from fucking Pepsi.
Shit, I got one better for you, Trident. Look at this shit that happened to Bud Light.
Oh yeah, that too.
The marketing director was this 30-something, no, not 30-something, but this 20-something fresh out the gate, who said, oh well, we're trying to move away from the fratty image. We're trying to market to, but you didn't understand your customer base. Exactly. Your customer base isn't the fucking frat boy. Your customer base is the old fuck, sitting by his car, drinking and fucking fixing his engine. That's your customer base.
Your customer base is the people who have no time for the bullshit that is craft beer.
Yes.
Exactly.
My favorite one lately is Jaguar.
Yes, Jaguar. Who's buying? Like, if you look at who are you fucking trying to market to? You're marketing to the broke people. Jaguar used to mean something.
Well, most people don't buy expensive cars.
That's true.
Commies don't buy cars.
Hey, black people buy expensive cars.
Commies can't
They're not
buy
marketing
cars.
to communists.
I mean, the Jaguar had an image, and it had an awesome image. It was the kind of the gritty, dirty luxury car. It was It was the car that was driven by kind of shady people and strange characters and.
You're mistaking that for BMW.
Yeah, that's BMW.
Jaguar is more of the
point is
high-end
status symbol.
Yes, there it is.
And you don't take a status symbol and run it through the fucking mud. You don't make it common. You find ways to maintain its uncommon status.
Yeah,
Shit.
but people like I don't actually know any of these people's names, but like I've heard of them before. Like Young Baby, okay? Or rapper
Or is it
Mick,
Dub
what's
Baby?
his name? I
Dub
don't know
Baby?
their names. I don't care. But
Yeah.
those are the people who are going to be buying Jaguar. Well, who they're marketing towards. They're not marketing towards you. They're
I
not
know that.
marketing towards, you know,
But you-
just air quotes this idiom of rich people, whatever that's supposed to mean.
No.
They're trying to get in on a slice of the pie that Tesla, Benz, Audi, and BMW, etc., as those status symbols in places like Hollywood and New York and whatever, these fancy circles of people who you look at a picture of, you go, is this an escape mental patient? Because they're just rich without any sort of understanding of the value of what they've been given.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want.
They don't
I don't
understand
want-
how they got their money either.
I don't want their Jaguar. I want the Jaguar that was driven by Michael Caine, the Cray brothers.
Exactly.
I want that Jaguar. I want
You
the
want-
scoundrels Jaguar. I don't want.
You want the Jaguar that
Tesla.
was driven by Thurston Howell III.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. What's preventing you from having that?
Well, I mean,
No, I'm saying
can
as
have
a
that,
marketing
but-
strategy, if you want something, these people that you mentioned, they're looking for a high-class vehicle.
Yes.
Yes.
They're looking at
Jaguar
a
is
status
the
symbol,
only
as I
one.
said. So you
It's a way to show off
don't
to other
market it
people.
as ghetto trash, the vehicle.
Mhm.
But they're not ghetto trash. I mean, you might see them as such, but these are people
No, that's
who...
not what I'm saying. I'm saying you don't follow a marketing strategy that decreases the status symbol of your brand. You have to
I
maintain
get what he's saying.
that it's a status symbol. This is what the rich people drive.
Yeah.
This is what
And-
the cool people drive.
And the people that they're marketing to are the people you're exactly talking about. They are
I
the
know
people...
that. But you don't alter the marketing to say this is what the low-life trash drives.
Where is it saying this is where the low lash...
Have you
I'm
seen-
missing something.
You're missing
People
my
like
point.
me.
I'm citing this as an example. And it's an example of why the current marketing for Jaguar is such a failure. Is because they're marketing to the wrong crowd.
No, it's because the wrong people... Like, I mean, the people who they're not marketing to... I deign to use the term, but like review bombed them on social media and kind of made them go, okay, this is a bad idea. But 99.9999999% of those people aren't even going to sniff a Jaguar, never mind buy one. So I don't see what the point of contention is. I'm not saying it's a good marketing campaign. I'm just saying I know what their
Point of
target
contention
audience
is that you don't. You continue to market the rich classy thing to the rich classy people because the poor trashy people want to be the rich classy people,
And they see it
poor
as a
trashy
status
people
symbol.
will get into the vehicle you're trying to sell in order to look like rich classy people. That's why you continue to market to rich classy people.
That's why you got shitheads like Jack Doherty with luxury cars. You know, his McLaren and shit. He wants to look like he makes money.
Yes.
And they do, Mitch. That was an ad campaign.
What?
That was a singular ad campaign. That's
Right.
not
That's
their...
what we're talking about. It's still a bad ad campaign.
I know, but you're saying the reason why it's a bad ad campaign is because you should be marketing to the typical consumer of Jaguar, you know, rich of Wall Street type, you know, suit and tie kind of motherfuckers, right?
Yuppies.
Yes, you should.
But they still
because
run
that
those
gets the
ads.
attention. It's a double dip. You see, because you not only are you advertising to the people you should be advertising to, but you're also advertising by default to people who can't afford your product and will go into debt and et cetera, et cetera. You're advertising to everyone if you advertise it correctly.
Yeah, I get it.
Even if you're You don't come out in the commercial and say trashy people don't drive this, so neither should you.
No. You're entirely wrong because PepsiCo does not market Pepsi to 7-Up drinkers. It markets 7-Up to 7-Up drinkers.
Pepsi still makes money, yes.
Hand over fist, because they have multiple products for multiple industries, and
There
that's
you go.
why. But you're agreeing that it's defeating your own point, because
No, I'm not.
Jaguar can
Knowing
and
your
should, like
audience-
other car companies, they actually have an air quotes economic model that's not a $250,000 roadster. It's 120. Well, okay, it's probably been a few years since I've seen it, but read up on the actual numbers. But my meaning is, they do have a lower end car and a high end car, and everything in between. Well, not everything in between, but a few in between. They're not Toyota. They're not going to go from the bottom to the top. That's not Jaguar. Like you said, they want to keep it up at the upper echelons, and that's what they do. Again, I think we all agree that
That's what
that
they
ad
do
campaign
regularly, yes,
was
but not with
bad.
this particular ad campaign. We're talking about one ad campaign and why it's a failure.
It's a failure because it's bad.
Well, yeah.
Yes, and it's bad because it's trying to market to the wrong crowd.
My contention to it is two streams. Three. There's three streams here that go on. Number one, it's just a bad campaign. Number two, it betrays the entire image that Jaguar had built over
decades.
In the U.S., that's the biggest
the
issue.
amount
Over their
of
entire existence.
puritanicalism,
Shit, I got a great example.
If hold on, if
I am very puritanical when it comes to cars. I want good cars, and I want good advertisement.
No, but I mean, at its core, you're basically saying if somebody makes one wrong move, fuck them.
Yes.
That's a very. It's surprising and incredibly leftist.
Wait a minute. I got a perfect example. Hold on, real quick. Function, do you know who Burt Reynolds is?
Of course.
Did you know that Burt Reynolds was unauthorized? It was an unauthorized use of his image for a Viagra-like drug, and he sued the fuck out of him because it would have
with anything.
I'm
gonna get to it.
It ruined his image. It was going to, if that got widespread, it would ruin his tough guy, man image, and it was an unauthorized
And I'm
use.
sorry if you're that weak of a person that somebody can have one misstep and you completely destroy anything and everything that they may or may not have done for you. Like Burt Reynolds has given me hours of enjoyment in his acting career. I'm not going to let that one thing, make me look at him and be like, and I understand that that's not everybody. My point is, I find that very weird. And that kind of purity test is very, very leftist.
There's a difference in play that I think you're missing. And I'll give you my example. It's Arnold
Another
Schwarzenegger.
example. Like, if you can't just outright say what
How can
you
I-
mean, then
How can I express
it's a
the thing if
problem.
I can't tell you how it relates to me? I can't
Or
tell
I
you
can't
how
even
it
get
relates
a
to somebody
sentence
else.
out.
For fuck's sake.
All right, guys,
Look,
calm down. We're all friends here.
Schwarzenegger told us, "Screw your freedom," right?
Okay.
And for years before that, I enjoyed his career. I mean, he did great stuff.
Yeah.
Now, after the "Screw your freedom" thing, I'm not doing anything to fill his pockets with money because I don't believe in it. What I'm not doing is telling other people that they can't fill his pockets with money. I'm not advocating against him. I'm just stating what my decision is. Anyone else, make your own decision.
Right.
That's what separates us from the left. It's a personal. Where on the right, it's a personal thing. Again, I don't fucking support Mark Hamill or fucking Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was fucking hilarious. But after the shit they said, fuck them. Fuck them with
Plus,
an iron rod.
plus, I'm a flawed individual. I'm
You know?
allowed to have my
Yeah,
puritanical
we're allowed to
moments.
be flawed, man.
But even then,
I
If
know
you
it's
want to throw the phrase purity test around, who's doing it?
but even then, I'm not going out and boycotting Sonic because Jim Carrey's in it. I'm not giving Jim Carrey my money. I'm not giving Mark Hamill my money. I don't stop anyone that wants to go see it from seeing it. I'm not saying, oh well, if you go see this movie, you're a fucking monster. You know, if you support X, Y, and Z, you're a monster.
That's the difference between what you label the left and us.
I mean,
No, because you're
I'm
making egregious false equivalencies. You're talking about something that's actually serious, like somebody's freedom and somebody who has power and some sort of influence, saying that a fundamental feature of us is our freedom, saying fuck your freedom to a company making a poor advertising choice. That's
And you're telling
not
us
it.
that we
And
can't
then
write something.
Jesus Christ, can I say something
Oh,
without
hold on.
fucking once?
Wait,
Go on.
hold on. Come on now. We're all friends
Because
here.
it's not you can say that, and I do agree that, like, I'm trying to be friendly here, but it's very irritating when, you know, I literally have sat there for an hour listening to people talk and never once interrupted somebody, but now that I'm trying to make a point, I'm getting interrupted every other time I speak. And it's never to say, hey, can you clarify that? Or, oh, it's like, no, but this and this. So please just let me finish my piece. And so my conflation to the left is they are the ones who, it's a feature of the puritanical left that they if they disagree on anything, on even the slightest bit, and that's the key thing, is it's just a slight disagreement, putting it as friendly as possible, that somebody would go, well, I want nothing to do with that company, that product, that blah blah blah, and that's I'm not judging anybody here by saying, like, you can't feel that way. I'm just saying I find it weird that somebody could say, see, like, even right now we're having a little bit of a disagreement, but I'm not going to shun any or all of you, like, just because we have a minor disagreement on something. And that again is the key feature, minor disagreement. And I'm done. We can discuss.
may I jump in?
Go right ahead. Right.
I want to talk to Dr. Funk because I kind of started because I am the puritanical asshole, and
I never called you an asshole.
I know you didn't. I'm just.
I don't know you
joking.
well enough to call you an asshole.
There are a lot of assholes here, but I'm joking. No, it's just I'm not. It's basically me looking at it and it's like, I don't like what they did, and I am going to refuse to buy the $250,000 luxury car because
I can afford it.
and but I'm not going to say anybody else shouldn't. I just feel like I feel it comes from a part of me that comes it was one of my first car loves. You know, the original Equalizer from the 80s.
Oh wow.
You know that and
I had a 76 XLT.
I know. I want an XJ6.
Yeah, they're nice.
But and you know what? And here's the thing is, I can still have that car and still feel the same thing about it. It just feels like that the people that make the car kind of turned away from me on that.
A lot of places to do that.
And that's why I'm so enraged. There is absolutely no logical reason I could tell you why I'm upset about this.
But why can't the neon orange suit wearing freak, they them zer creature, why are you saying that them owning a Jaguar, or actually in this case just being marketed to, something so egregious to you? I don't agree with those people on pretty much
well, you know,
anything, but
the thing is that it feels like they turned away from that. Instead of coming out and saying we're building a car for all these different groups, because Elton John drove a Jaguar and Steve McQueen drove a Jaguar.
mm-hmm.
So you could have the queer icon and the man's man driving the same car, but it feels like they turned away, and that's why it's so egregious. Is not that they're marketing towards a different demographic. It feels like they're turned away from
people that
my
they
side.
were once marketing to.
They're alienating their old fans
that's what I
in
don't
hope to get a new
understand.
one.
Well,
That's what I don't understand is why do you feel this way?
well,
Why do you think that that's what they did?
well, there's your key word right there, is feel. I can't. I'll be honest with you. I can't explain. I can't make you understand why I feel this way. I just do.
Okay.
And then there is no logical reasoning behind it.
Okay.
I wish it could, because that would make this whole conversation a whole lot more easy. But it does feel like it is a complete turn away from the things I like.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, it's,
Go ahead.
if I may, it's, and I don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, I love some of the historic Jaguars and everything,
For a while.
and that, but it's not like I'm ever going to be getting one, ever be in a position to buy one. But you take a company that was okay, I guess there might be some medical students that would be interested in that. Textbook stuff there, but you run into they have their own history, their own position. The thing that I've seen with that is, they have their own marketing history, the whole image that they built, and a long history on the advertising campaigns that it seems like they've just bought into the whole hyper woke, thrown all of that out in this ad campaign that makes absolutely no sense
For what they're trying to sell.
for what it makes absolutely no sense as a car advertisement or as a advertisement for a car company who has built their reputation and built their product as it's this performance luxury car, which isn't something you get every day from Britain. I mean,
Can I project in this one?
All right.
Go ahead.
I've been super quiet. I did agree with the functional, like way far too many of y'all were interrupting him without any actual justification. My problem with that Jaguar commercial was the fact that it had nothing fucking about cars.
That's my problem too. There it is.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Shut up, Tyr. Let me fucking finish. That had nothing to do about cars. I don't care if they want to promote to crazy ass lefties and whatnot. That's 100% fine. But if you're gonna do a car ad, you do it about a fucking car. So you could have easily have had basically lefties and righties, basically the whole thing of like having an argue. Jaguar goes by and they're both like, damn, that's a nice car, and then go back to arguing with each other or whatnot, or some shit like that. But it had nothing to do with the car. There wasn't even a car in the ad. That was my issue.
Yeah,
it was retarded.
Have the whole ad, all those people driving the car.
Kind of a failing of modern art is
Wait a minute. I want to read some of the chats on the screen right now. All right. Red Feather One said it's not as bad as the campaign inspired by Diddy. Red Feather goes, even if people did in the ad were their target demographic, the ad sucked. Kevin Noxus X9. We are the Metatron. Red Five goes. Not many people can afford the cars, and perhaps all the H1BV recipients would be interested.
Damn.
I mean, if we're going to be honest about Jaguar, the only reason why it's considered expensive, and that's in the U.S., is because it's a European car that has to be imported, and it's very expensive to work on because the parts also have to be imported.
Yeah.
Because over in Europe, it's not that expensive because it's made there and parts are readily available.
Yeah.
Like Toyota are cheap all over the world because they're manufactured all over the world.
Yeah, mine was retarded to get fixed. Anytime there was something wrong, it cost 3 times as much, and I eventually went and got a Ford.
I mean, maybe it's just that it's. Oh, go ahead.
That's always my favorite thing when someone says, like, I don't drive a Toyota, I drive a Lexus. Dude, you drive a fancy Lexus. Lexus, Scion, they're both Toyotas.
I think I understand Travis' thing. You feel like having a Jaguar, any type of Jaguar, is a status symbol.
Oh yeah, it's still a status symbol for in Europe. It's just not as expensive.
No. What I mean is, with that ad campaign, it diminished the status of having a Jaguar. It's not as important.
You find it's actually something that's important to you, whereas like something like to Mitch's point of Arnold being a complete fucking piece of shit. The same reason I won't watch or support anything with James Gunn, because he's a child molester and Hollywood just made it disappear. Like that's something on the egregious scale. So yeah, that does sour my opinion, even though I don't think he was a great director to begin with. Like any projects that he or Arnold or whatever is that like personal to you, I guess, you know, and you don't really nobody really has to answer this question, but that answers my first question, like why. So it does bother you. You do find that a little bit more egregious, that it's a car commercial without a car in it and blah blah blah.
Motherfucker, like, get off my ass! Sorry.
Yeah, I saw you getting. That's why I got distracted. You're getting fucking hammered.
My shield's held though. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
To revoke your H1B. I'm getting a little worked up because I'm fucking playing Helldivers right now, and
it's all good. You know what this proves though, is that we're not an echo chamber. We all have our ways of thinking, and we'll disagree from time to time.
And I am being salacious a little bit when I say like you're being the leftist, because I know that that's going to get under people's skin.
I know you. I kind of felt that you were just saying that to get the conversation a little bit more lively. I doubt you were like, you communist.
No, I don't think anybody here is like a full-blown leftist or whatever, but you know,
but
a little hyperbole keeps things a little spicy.
Well, you know, and we want a little spice.
Well, no, I don't even think Tyr got my joke earlier.
Hyperbole is the spice of life.
Oh shit, I fell through the map. Plus,
that's what you get.
So, like, there's that. I'm always trying to rile up the white man, apparently.
And it's a
melange is the spice of life.
The spice melange.
I think 18% is enough, right?
And the spice must flow.
And then you have that hot Canadian temper.
That hot Canadian.
A little habanero on it.
No, I apologize if it seems like I had a temper. I'm fucking playing Helldivers, so
wait, really quick,
and watching Tyr get shot at.
Go to hell! I'll live.
Hold on. I say in one part where I could agree, where it seemed like you're getting upset, was a valid situation. Whereas every time you try to explain something, and it's happened to all of us, we'll get interrupted, and it gets super fucking frustrating.
Fair enough.
And then like 5 other people have questions about what I'm saying or what somebody is saying, and it's like, well, I would have explained that.
God damn it.
But it's whatever. This is what happens when men talk. We talk over each other.
Plus, I am
bunch of rowdy savages.
I am irrational.
Well, that's also the reason why on Tyr's stream you've actually heard me say to a couple people in there, been like, they'll interrupt like, well, I'd get there if you'd let me fucking finish.
Yeah, I'm quite, I will not lie. Rodney said that shit to I just accept whenever Tyr shut the fuck up.
There was
okay.
Off topic. There was a guy that
I'm running to get me really quick. I'm running to get me a drink and to get me some more snacks, but I'm listening in.
He wanted to see how many people he could fit in a Discord voice channel.
Oh God, that sounds terrible.
The number is 10,000,
Jesus.
and it sounded like he opened the gates of hell.
Ah!
Oh Jesus!
Didn't Jaguar present that as sort of a rebranding as well?
Was it a complete rebranding?
Yes, it was a rebranding.
Yeah, but they changed the logo at least, or the.
Well, then my point of like multi.
They changed the typeface on the word.
They removed the fucking Jaguar doing the jump. Like their original symbol with the Jaguar lunging.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah.
Jaguar rampant. That's what it's called.
Well, is it gone or does it go back in the car like the others do, like it used to?
No, it's no longer there. The symbol is completely gone. It's just Jaguar.
Oh, that's gay.
That would be like Ford getting rid of that stupid blue oval.
I'm upset that they don't have any real hood ornaments anymore. Even Mercedes has gotten rid of them.
Well, yeah.
Fucking pedestrians.
A lot of it has to do with the rising theft crime.
I think Rolls still has hood ornaments.
They do
with self-protection.
But part of it here is they got rid of them because they like to rip open pedestrians.
People need to stay out the road.
I hear you there.
Yeah, I mean, my hollow points. It doesn't matter what kind of bullet I'm shooting. Hollow point or bullet, bullet's a bullet. There's a reason I'm shooting you.
Get out of the living room when I'm passing through.
Why are you in my house? That's not even a question. It's just...
Yeah.
First, then you
because
ask
the restraining order.
I ask that question after they're bleeding out on the floor. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I don't start talking until the bag's empty.
Wait, hold on.
The answer to your question is...
I know why you're bleeding on the floor, but why are you in my house?
Well, that's because the restraining order ended today. It expired. That's why I'm in your house.
Functional, you reminded me of a joke.
Yeah.
So, the cop approaches a woman's window and asks her if she's been drinking. She goes, "Officer, I don't appreciate you asking me if I've been drinking, and why are you in your underwear?" He goes, "Well, ma'am, you happen to crash into my living room, and if I want to wear my underwear in my living room, I will."
Hold on, really quick. Try to quickly. You about to say something?
I'm trying to say something for the last hour and a half.
God damn it! Sorry.
It's fine. I'm just like, every time I open my mouth, somebody starts talking over.
Yep.
You are a little bit quieter than everybody else.
I'm just like, shut up.
Do
that.
Yeah, like critical. If you honestly want to say something, and you just say, "Shut the fuck up, all y'all." I want to say something.
Like,
I know. I was just like, I was just letting you guys hash it out, and like every time I think it's over, it's like, fuck, it starts again.
Yeah.
Hold up. See, it gets everyone to quiet down. Continue.
And this starts, fuck.
What?
What'd you say?
Every time it quiets down, I go to speak, and then someone starts talking again. I'm like,
well, I mean, you know what we run into there is we all know that dead air is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. And so that's why I was trying to take it back.
Dead air is bad in nature abhors a vacuum.
And we must fill that dead air.
Dead air is bad in a audio environment. Dead air is fine in a potential visual environment when you're looking at like specific things that way.
True, but still.
Like, have that conversation.
But we're all big talkers. That's just what it is.
I take umbrage with that.
Go ahead.
I'm not a big talker. I am big and a talker.
Semantics,
Both.
your ass.
Big
You
what?
know.
All right, so I agree.
Go ahead. I'm saying, go ahead. Damn it. Calm it down. Don't kill me. I like life.
Anyway, I agree with, was it Tyr that said that he had the problem with, or was it Tragic that said he had a problem with Jaguar?
We'll just continue on with it, regardless of who said it.
Yeah.
Okay, regardless of who said it, whatever you guys did, I kind of agree with that. Now, I don't drink beer. I hate beer.
Mm-hmm.
But what Bud Light did 2 years ago with having Mulvaney as the spokesperson for
Yeah.
like putting it on the can, and nobody liked this person. Like, I don't know what social media is like praising this person and why it got even, and doing tampon commercials.
Yes.
I don't even
stupid.
and I don't even use tampon. Like I'm not a female. I don't use that. Like, that's not something for me. Why is this dude who's dressing as a woman can get all of these weird ass sponsorships being put on a can, being used to promote this stuff, and it's like, it's as dumb as James Charles promoting makeup.
Yeah, being a spokesperson for Alta.
Let me interject real quick. The Mulvaney thing wouldn't have been so bad, except for the whole fact was he's not a sports fan. So going through and trying to have him promote a beer during March Madness when everything's supposed to be about basketball, and him not being a basketball fan doesn't make sense. If he'd have been the one to come up in like March Madness and then like just been talking basketball, most people probably wouldn't have cared too much. They'd have been like, I don't know what this thing is talking about, but he's talking sports and I like sports, so I can at least understand that.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, you're not targeting to the right demographic. When people try to put the rainbow flag every what is it?
On everything.
June, July, whatever that month is. June, okay. Whenever they throw that rainbow flag on their profiles, it's only for that month. That's only when they grift for it. It's just so that they can get those people to market to them. The rest of the year, they don't give a fuck.
And they only do it here in accepting places. You don't see that shit being marketed. Yeah, you don't see that shit being marketed in, like, Somalia, Saudi Arabia, because they don't put up with that shit.
And it's only here, and it's why people get pissed off. And it's like, okay, stop trying to cater to like 1% of the population. Like,
well, they're trying to push this coordinated Marxist ideology. So, I mean, that I would consider an egregious like affront to everything and anything the West stands for.
DEI is Marxism with a new flavor.
Honestly,
it's Marxism and racism with better public relations, with better PR.
Fair enough. James is about to say something critical. Sorry.
All right.
Back in the day, we were a nation of tolerance. We've moved away from tolerance and tried to be a nation of acceptance.
No, we tried to...
Now, do you know what the difference is in that?
What's the difference?
Selling.
Tolerance is I just have to put up with, like a crying baby or a cold. Acceptance is something different.
I don't think it's
exactly.
Really quick, can I interject, James? Can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's tolerance. I don't think it's acceptance. It's accommodation. We're making accommodations for these people. Oh, well.
We're babying them.
Yeah, we're babying them. Tolerance is, okay, you're gay. Fine, whatever. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Exactly.
Exactly.
that's tolerance. I don't bother you because you don't bother me. Accommodation is, oh, well, because I'm gay, all this got to be changed. Or because I'm X, Y, and Z, you have to change whatever it is that you're doing to make me feel better. Because if you don't, you're a fascist, commie, whatever.
Exact. That's part of what DEI is.
Yeah, you're a
They're
bigot
not-
Yeah,
because you
that's
don't
what I'm
accommodate.
getting at.
But they're not pushing for acceptance now anymore. They're pushing for endorsement.
Endorsement of
Well,
the
and
Freepik.
exclusion if that's not something that
guys,
you are.
guys, James was still had the floor.
I was just saying that's what I'm getting at here is because from tolerating it, which is good for you, just don't hit on me when I'm drinking. And now the acceptance part is okay, we accept that you're gay and we are going to do whatever it takes not to offend you. You know what I say? Offend them all. Offend everybody.
And now at the same time, it's you're homophobic or transphobic if you're not going to date me.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
beyond the acceptance thing. It is the you must endorse and celebrate, or you're a hateful bigot. No,
Well, I think we're past that stage already, and we apex or they apexed at the if you're if you don't trans your child, you're a monster. If you don't
Pretty much.
if you don't bend the knee to anybody and everybody who's black, Aquame y'all.
I fucking hate that
then-
guy, and I hope he gets
Then
prison
you're
time.
automatically racist and should not have a job in society. And then they increased that yet again with things that took it even the further step, and then included some of these people. You don't wear the mask. You don't get the experimental medication injected directly in your veins. Then you are no longer a part of this society. That's what I meant by like the Marxist sort of ideology, because that's the constant process of elimination and otherizing until you're left with one or a very small group at the top who controls everything now.
The eternal purity test.
Everything you think, everything you speak, say, hear, do, it's all pre-approved by the ministry of whatever.
We all missed something. We missed a very important element of this.
Okay.
And that element is, whatever the ideology is. Whether it's the gay, the black, the whatever HB1, H1B, whatever.
Yeah.
The issue, in part, is that, look, if you're straight and white, you don't get to have a straight alliance of straight people. You don't get to have the white club of white people.
Oh,
But
that's
all
been
these other
seen as
groups
evil.
insist upon themselves.
Yeah.
They all insist upon themselves. They gotta have the, in the terms of the superhero shows, they gotta have the black lady with the black powers and the black car and the black driver's license and whatever constitutes them being a superhero.
Mm.
Or it's the gay powers with the gay car, or the that's even more fun to point out because a car can't be gay.
Exactly.
But they want to paint everything, and that's actually an interesting way to put it. They want to paint everything as gay, as trans, as
Yes.
black coded, etc., etc. They insist upon themselves.
Yes.
Now
and
you
that
know what
pisses
Peter
me-
Griffin was talking about.
And that pisses me off to no end. It fucking does. Like, they tried to say, best example I can, that Lincoln's gay.
Who?
Lincoln was gay.
Abraham
Lincoln.
Oh, yeah.
Because he slept in the bed with another guy. But you have to look at it in the context of the time period on which he did that. To them, when you slept in the bed, you probably was fucking cold and you slept in there for fucking warmth. You weren't fucking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
they can't. It's because that they don't have a concept of actual human connection with other people, and so they
Right.
equate every kind of relationship that other people have as a love relationship.
Yeah.
They can't comprehend. They can't comprehend two people having familial bond. They can't comprehend
Yes,
two
they can.
people being brothers or best friends. They can't comprehend that.
Yes, they
So they have to make. They have to ship it. They have to be like, oh well, these are people who love each other. I like the motherfuckers. The motherfuckers that keep trying to ship Dean Winchester and Castiel from Supernatural. It pisses me the fuck off to no end because yes, at the end of Supernatural, Kaz actually expressed his love for the brothers, for the family, the Winchesters that took him in when no one else could.
Have you ever seen the movie? Really quickly, sorry to interrupt you, Mitch. Have you ever seen the movie Luca?
No.
It's a little cartoon Pixar animation about two creatures from the sea who go on dry land, pretend to be humans, and they have a misadventure. They
Oh, I
try
think I
to
might have seen it.
they try to say that the two characters are gay, and the guy that wrote it, says no, it's based off of me and my best friend and our adventures as kids. It's because it's essentially him telling his a biography of his life in a cartoonish in a fictional way. Like it's
Yeah.
based off of me and my best friend and the shit
It's
we
meant to be
did
a
when we were
wholesome
kids.
thing.
Yeah. Oh no, they're gay. No, they're fucking not. That creator has come.
Everything.
Hold on. Their creator came out and told you it's based off of me and my best friend as children.
Because they have no concept of a loving relationship outside of actual physical contact.
They also don't understand
Brain rot.
what they also just don't understand what survival means.
Yes.
No, they
There's a
don't.
reason why cities are the bastions of the weakest of the weak, usually, and it's because they literally do not know what it would take to survive
Ready
without
for another TFO, Mitch? Excuse me.
electricity, running water, the internet, all these luxuries that better men have provided for them.
Simply everything has to be gay coded, black coded for them, trans coded.
Yes,
So
or adjacent, or coded, or this, or it's in my head canon. Shut the
That's
fuck
because
up.
they're bigots.
And I'm tired of. All right, so the argument. This one of the main reasons why I fucking hate this concept. They try to say that Piccolo is black. No, the fuck he isn't.
He's green.
he's green.
It's green.
Well, no,
Or that they're trying to say he's black coded.
but
He's Namekian.
my point is, being black doesn't have a leash on stoicism or being, kind of emotionless, even though he loves Gohan. Like he
Those were
shows that.
Asians back in the day.
It's they have no. It's not coded to one ideology or group. People can be stoic and reserved in their emotions.
Yeah, Piccolo's
Piccolo
not
reminds
black.
me-
He's autistic.
Piccolo reminds me of the one the Japanese stoic, the male of the house, the guy who never really shows his love except for certain ways.
Yeah, again,
That's
that's
what he
what it
reminds
is.
me of.
And they harp. Oh well, this one trait. No, it's not the one trait thing. It's like the fucking remember it's many moons ago, ages ago. The kid that had the white kid that had the dreadlocks, and the girl was threatening to cut him off because that's a black
That was back
hairstyle.
in I think that was back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I bring that up because Jamaicans don't have a IP license to that hairstyle. That's what fucking happens to hair when you don't fucking do anything to it. When you just let it grow wild, it tends to do that. It naturally does that shit.
And no,
Yeah.
it's when it turns nappy.
Yes, it naturally does that. It is not just because one group has it more often than the other doesn't mean it's locked to that one group. Fucking Vikings had the same hairstyle.
hundreds of years before the Jamaicans.
Yes.
Jamaicans aren't real.
Jungle Asians.
Jungle agents.
Jamaicans be crazy, man.
But you know what I mean. It's the. Go ahead, Dragon.
I just feel like
Oh God, I'm being fucked.
I feel like a lot of media is just having to play into oversimplification of how people interact because a large percentage of people out there did not learn how to fully interact with other people.
No, they don't.
They're the main
And
characters
then
in their story.
On top of that, we spent 4 fucking years, 2.5 years, separated from each other
Yeah.
due to a little virus.
And I have a silly theory about it. I mean,
that got blown out of proportion.
This is something that just came to my mind, and I'm just going to throw it out there. Like I said, silly. You know how a lot of these problems from media representation, a lot of, and how people can only feel like comfortable interacting through electronics means younger. A lot of these come back to one thing, and it's a lot of people, when they were children, did not learn how to interact with people outside of a small group that was chosen for them.
Exactly.
Now,
parents were not.
oh my
strict enough
gosh, Mitch,
to tell
you
them
got
no.
Mitch. That was exactly what I was about to say.
What?
My silly theory is stranger danger destroyed American world society.
Yes. Paranoia tends to do that.
Well, I mean, it's that whole thing. They were on one side of it, and like they always do, instead of correcting to where it should have been, they overcorrected too hard the other way.
Yes.
So going from the stranger danger and not knowing where your kids are, you have to now micromanage them.
And that's called helicopter parent.
You about to say something?
Why is it called?
James?
Why is it called paranoia when you're wrong, but it's foresight when you're right?
Marketing.
I want to say it's like
Bring the marketing subject back up again, you know.
I said this before too. I'm not paranoid. There's not two of me. I'm solenoid.
Car jokes.
Look, I'm not paranoid. They just spread that rumor to discredit me.
Nice one, Rodney.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not paranoid. We're noids.
And you tend to be you tend to be a functional solenoid, so you're not whirlpool.
Your STD, your standard.
I finally figured out how to make an appliance joke in this group.
Nice one.
But I think I figured out an element of the race relations thing.
Go ahead.
I mean, I've been around since the 70s, and I've seen a lot of the entertainments and whatnot, and how the issue has been brought up and discussed, et cetera, et cetera. And I think I have a way to simplify it finally. And my simplification is, you don't buy a black guy a gift of a coupon to a tanning booth or to a tanning salon.
Okay.
Basically, that's to say, look, yeah, you recognize that each person is an individual, and you judge them on their individual merits, but you don't ignore the color thing to the point that you do something stupid.
Fair enough.
Black guys can want a tan too.
Sure they can.
I mean, but dude, if you're going to the average black man asking if they want to tan, they'll probably say no. But if you got a friend that likes tanning,
yeah, it's probably a good standard rule of thumb. You don't buy a black guy a coupon to a tanning salon.
I know what I'm going to get here for Christmas next year.
Now that's all
you
you're
go.
going to get
Different
next
tanning.
year.
Or you don't believe Mitch's GoFundMe when he says, "I've got sickle cell anemia."
Right. Look what it's done to my skin.
Yeah, right.
Totally 3/5 of a joke.
Boom, boom.
No,
I know
I
what
like
I'm
to call
getting here
that
for
like
his
racial
birthday.
agnosticism. Because
Hold
yeah,
on.
I noticed it. I'm not gonna say I'm blind to it. I know that Mitch is black. You know, no, I'm just kidding.
How dare you?
But like, you know, I can acknowledge Tyr's black. Yeah, so what? What does that say to me?
Yeah, what does it mean?
It's the color of his
Says
skin.
don't
What
buy
the
a
fuck?
ticket to it.
Is
Don't
he-
buy a coupon to a tanning salon.
But well,
Right,
I got one
right,
better
right,
for you.
right.
If Functional is me and Functional have interacted trillions of times at this point in our existence, and I'm pretty sure he knows. Even if he were to get me something, he'd have a general idea of the shit I like and would pick out a good gift. Based like, oh well, I know Tyr likes DS9, so I would give him a model of DS9. He would love it. Fuck yes, I
I
would
know
love it.
Tyr likes DS9 and boobs, so I'm gonna get him.
And Piccolo.
He's gonna give him a booty magazine and a.
I'm
Ty
gonna give him a Star Wars titty mag.
God damn.
Star Trek's titty mag.
Woo!
In the 70s, going back to the 70s again, on the show All in the Family, they had an episode with Lionel Jefferson, the black guy, Mike Stivic, the white guy, who was a wild, raging lefty. They were playing a board game called Truth or some shit like that, but whatever. It gave Lionel the opportunity to tell Mike, because Mike was always, promoting the black cause, because he's a raging lefty, right? And Lionel was actually sick of it. Lionel was tired of it because Mike never talked to Lionel about things that you just talk to people with. It was always the black issue or the black problem or how the black should cope with living in modern blah blah, all that bullshit. And Lionel's correct, that's
He was a white knight.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fucking white knights. I fucking hate them so goddamn much. Like every time I meet one, I want to punch one of them in the fucking face.
But meanwhile, there's Archie Bunker, who was, you could say he was a bigot and prejudiced, but he was born up in that, or he was brought up in that kind of a world. So he had a lot more to overcome when it comes to that kind of stuff, and he did.
Yeah.
He did overcome it. And Mike tries to call out Lionel about it, and Lionel's, well, what about Archie? He does this shit all the time, and much worse than I do. And Lionel says to him, yeah, but Archie doesn't know any better. And it's true, he didn't. It's not that Archie was ignorant or cruel or evil. His vernacular was created at a time when that's the way you talk about black people. So that was those were the only tools he had, and he had to learn new tools, and that's fine. But Mike was treating Lionel as a black person and not as a person. So he was being his own kind of prejudice. And we don't talk about that kind of prejudice anymore.
The bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah. Kind of.
No.
The mouth. Go ahead. Tragic. Sorry.
Sorry, I had to mute myself. I cracked myself up. I said I'm gonna use the tanning bed coupons for a fat girl so she can have stripes.
Oh.
It's at
so what
George
you're
Foreman
saying
Grill.
Terrible human being, and I love you for it.
So what you're saying is I cannot get Tyr the religious yard candles.
No, you can't give me the religious yard candle.
Why not?
Remember the joke we had that you were going to light my lawn on fire with a burning cross, but it didn't mean that. It was just a tea for time to go. You were trying to help me out.
Look,
Exactly.
I was promised a tire fire on New Year's Eve, but really had one.
It was
I
a
spent
time
hours in the dump.
Well, there was a Cybertruck. There was a Cybertruck explosion.
Those things are built for
That was
fucking top.
Antifa related.
You guys believe any of that? You think?
Nope.
Hey, it's 2025. Let's start burning shit.
It's an op.
Blowing things up.
It smells like an op.
Yeah.
It
It
smells
does.
like a boomer created an op because they're like, oh, who do we need to defame here? Who do we need to send a message
set
to
up
or
too
whatever.
perfect, though.
Oh, we'll do it in front of the Trump Hotel with an Elon car. Like, come on.
It was too perfect. It was
Go ahead, Critical, and then try.
okay. So the whole thing was set up too perfectly, right? So you got the guy. Apparently, he was a Trump supporter and a Trump. He was a major Trump fan, apparently. Whatever.
Not buying it.
And I don't buy it either. His whole family said he was a Trump fan. That sounds like they were paid off. Anyway, there was a rented Cybertruck. It wasn't it wasn't his. It was rented. And apparently, this company that bought it was rented months ago. And it was set at the Trump Tower in Las Vegas with Elon Musk's vehicle. There's a message here that I'm not quite understanding, but it seems too perfect.
All right, this is my thing. If you wanted to do damage, you'd have ran that Cybertruck into the building and exploded it inside.
You'd have done it with a Model S, not a Cybertruck, because the body of that truck diffused and diverted most of the explosion.
It absorbed that explosion like a goddamn champ.
You're supposed to use a brighter truck and fertilizer.
Oh, Dan, you're trying to go Oklahoma on this one, aren't you?
Hold on, wait.
It is Oklahoma.
Wait a minute. I want to read.
For that.
Hold on. I want to read Red Feather one. He says, I think the guy in Vegas and the guy in New Orleans knew each other. That's the prevailing theory.
That's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking they were sleeper cells.
Them and the one of the Trump assassins
same fort.
We're all at the same military fort.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I want to preface this with allegedly, YouTube. Allegedly. We're on the minions, we're not on, so we got.
Well, the allegation would be that they knew each other. Their connections with Fort Bragg have been pretty clearly established at this point. I like Red Feathers. Like Dylan used Tampax when he has hemorrhoids.
Oh shit!
And then this Mr. Scott, Fagwire would disagree. You can gay a car.
See, here's my thing with the reputation of the FBI. Why has no American law enforcement agency gotten a warrant to look at their asset list? Because that's the shortest way to figure out who's working for who.
Yeah.
Because they have investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing.
Yeah,
because
they're
there's
oversight
no
themselves.
Yeah, there's no state level agency that would be able to get that from them.
Sure there is.
No matter what a judge signed off on.
Well, that's why you need a judge to sign off on it.
Or at least you wouldn't get the complete list.
The FBI refuses to release that information. It looks bad.
They'd never release an unredacted list.
I know that.
Even if they were innocent, they'd never release an unredacted list. And I don't believe they're innocent.
But that's exactly my point. We got to create an environment that makes them look guilty.
I mean,
we got to wage not only a standard war, but a PR war as well.
No, like Mitch, they already did that when Congress asked.
Louder, please.
They already had that when Congress asked for it during the January 6th thing, and they said, how many assets did you have? And they were like, oh, we can't confirm nor deny anything.
I know.
Talking into the penis you're stuck in, not your microphone.
So, I'm gonna throw this out there. This is open. This is just information, not related to anything. No conspiracy here. There are 3 major security events going on in Washington D.C. that they had to increase security for. One of them was the certification of the Electoral College, the Carter funeral, and of course the inauguration. And of course, because of the 2 terrorist attacks, they're having to increase police in federal presence. Yes, thank you. Over both of these, over what they were planning on doing. I'm not implying anything here.
All right, hear me out, and I'm going to preface this with this. It is a theory. It is my musings. It is just conjecture.
Again,
They're going to Abraham him. They're going to try very hard to Abraham him.
Oh yeah, I honestly believe that President Trump should not rely upon the Secret Service exclusively.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely not.
All right, did you hear that he still has to go, like, Judge Merchan is now going to sentence him?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
They still can't do anything.
They can lock him up. They can sentence him and they can lock him up, but it'll be a moot point.
They announced what the sentence is going to be. It's a deferred sentence. So if he doesn't commit any more crimes, it will be dismissed within 5 years.
But Dallas to Donuts,
ex post facto legislation.
Dallas to Donuts, if he lives, they're gonna. Oh well, you sneezed on a Tuesday in a no sneezing zone, so off to jail you go.
The ex post facto, and I would argue Mitch, a writ of attainder. They wrote a law for the sole purpose of charging and convicting him. The purpose of the law, the admitted purpose of the law, was to charge and convict him. And you had multiple prosecutions. We would never use this on anyone but Trump. By definition, that makes it a writ of attainder. That's a double unconstitutional
I got one better for you. The E. Jean Carl shit shouldn't exist. How can I defame her if you prove that I'm innocent? My actions were doing. I was calling her a lying bitch.
You know, remember when truth was a complete defense to libel?
Yeah.
Or defamation.
It's still in many cases is, but not if you're
not if you're Donald Trump.
Not if you're Donald Trump. Not if you're the
I got one better for you guys. I got one better for you. Really quickly. The one that they used for E. Jean Carl, the new law they created to extend the statute of limitations, was being used against one of the politicians that was a big proponent of it. Now he's calling the law unconstitutional.
Exactly.
Yep. And it is. It's a very unconstitutional law.
Yeah, but if it was unconstitutional at that point, wouldn't it be unconstitutional for everybody, which includes Donald Trump?
Well, yeah, the second that law is deemed unconstitutional, it should vacate anything against Trump.
But go ahead. Sorry.
But the other part of that, what should completely vacate, even if the law he was charged under was constitutional, what should completely vacate that is by making sure that she did not have to list the day, the month, or even the year the supposed event happened. Did not have to specify anything about the allegations beyond this is what I'm alleging happened. He was denied his rights to be able to face and defend against his accusation. He couldn't have suitable counsel. He couldn't face his accuser in the nature of the accusation because he didn't have. They made it so vague that you couldn't defend it. It's okay. I can prove I wasn't even in the city this month, this month, this month, this month, this month, and this month of that year. Oh, hey, but you could have been these months and these years, so it could still be guilt. No, charges against the person have to be specific.
Do you remember? It was one of Epstein's former girlfriends. She came out like maybe a year and a half ago about Donald Trump sexually assaulted me when I went to his brownstone, and she gave me a specific date. And he goes, and everyone's like, it never happened. It couldn't have happened.
That sounds fishy.
And people, given the time frame and whatnot, they were saying he didn't live there. He wasn't there. He didn't live there. He moved in the following year.
and that's why this was deliberately done so vaguely. They know it's false.
And if you give a time frame,
I'm convinced the jury knew it was false, but it is anti-Trump
and
because of where it is.
And if you give a time frame, he could. Oh no, I wasn't even in the. And I got proof that I wasn't even around that time.
Right. As long as they could keep it vague, they could leave it open that, hey, there is a chance that Trump was there anywhere in this period of X number of years, so he could have done it. That's not the preponderance of the evidence either.
Nope.
That's speculative. That is way below. I mean, that's not 50% plus one. That's, hey, it's in the realm of remote theoretical possibility.
Exactly.
They still used it.
If you take out what she claimed happened for its physiological impossibility, and you take out the matter that the outfit she claimed she was wearing wasn't released for 10 years after that, you still have to say, at best, there's only about a 5% chance it could have possibly happened. If you turned it into the realm of, okay, the actual events are physiologically possible, not what she said happened, and oh, hey, she was wrong about what outfit she was wearing, and she was wearing an outfit that was available at the time, there's still, at best, only a 5% chance it happened. That's not enough for even a civil conviction.
Yeah, apparently the outfit that she wore didn't even exist yet.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That the outfit she claimed she was wearing didn't exist for 10 more years after the latest date her claims could have happened.
It is this whole believe all women shit. Remember Christy Blasey Ford?
Oh God.
All right, so you're saying you can't quite remember this party. You don't know when it happened, but you know that he was there and he did a thing. Did you was he there? I mean,
and that's another time they learned the mistake of trying to be too specific, because they narrowed it down far enough. He can demonstrate he wasn't at a party at a,
I remember the lady that that can also be going back to the lady that lied about the four rugby players that assaulted her.
Lacrosse team.
She claimed,
yeah. Oh fucking hell!
She came out recently and said that it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm just about to bring it up.
Because the statute of limitations is gone, she can't be punished for that. And I think that one.
Yeah.
Every time there's a false accusation where it's demonstrably false, not a mistaken identity, not a, not one that's like, yeah, she was raped, but she's wrong. She's wrong about who did it, or it's plausible that she's raped, but she's wrong about who did it. It's demonstrably provable that there was not rape. It's demonstrably provable that the person she's accusing was not there. You should be looking at charges. The punishment, the minimum punishment should be the same as the maximum punishment that person could have faced had the charges been true, and there should be no statute of limitations on it. Mm-hmm. You deliberately lied to try and ruin somebody's life in some of the worst possible ways.
Do you remember? Again, I bring up examples and forgive me. And this is one where the guy offs himself because they're false allegations. Zoe Quinn, the whole shit with her. When she blamed the guy for touching her, and he offed himself, and it comes out, oh yeah, I lied. Bitch, a guy killed himself because of your fucking dumbass.
Oh, that's the other thing is if you make the false allegation, a demonstrably false allegation, again, not a mistaken identity, something like that, a demonstrably false allegation, and it results in a death, it should be treated as a felony murder. No ifs, ands, or buts. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if it's because they Minecrafted themselves because of the false allegation, or
okay, show
you had mob justice
Someone took him out.
Minecraft them. Either way, if the person ends up unalive, it should be treated as a felony murder.
And I'm sorry for interrupting again. Well, but it also brings up what you said if it's done by mob rule. Remember, we read an article about how a girl lied on her Muslim girl lied on her teacher.
In France.
Said he was saying, huh?
In France.
Yeah, in France. Said he was being disrespectful to Muslims and whatnot, like showing the Prophet Muhammad in a cartoon, and someone offed him.
You know the funny thing about that whole scenario?
What?
Recently, the person who offed the father just got offed.
Really?
Tin can.
Oh, did you hear about that? Did you hear about that?
But so before we get into that, there's an easy way to get the government on board with the whole thing of the false allegations, and that's defrauding the government.
It's what?
Defrauding the government. Since they made false accusations, they defrauded the government to use resources that did not need to be used for that, or should have never been used in the first places. They quite literally defrauded the government.
Oh yes, that's one way to do it.
The Jussie Smollett prosecution.
I thought you were advocating an idea that had occurred to me. We all see the videos where cops are completely unhinged, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
only
why
a
is
dozen a day?
nobody reporting those completely unhinged people to CPS? A lot of those cops are fathers. If they're that unhinged, they need to be reported to CPS.
Because they could be doing that to their kids and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, basically, my thought there is use the state against the state as much as you can.
Right. Does anybody remember the TikToker that unalived himself on TikTok Live?
Nope.
I think I've
His
heard
name
of it,
was he was a cosplayer named Vincent Pleachy. He went by Inquisitor Ghost. He unalived himself because someone was trying to make an allegation that he was a pedophile. He tried to make the allegation.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't want to deal with the allegations. He didn't want to have that tarnished on his name. That's why he did that. But because it was all made up, there was no proof.
See, that's the thing I hate about our system or our world right now. The court of public opinions will convict you even after the physical court has exonerated you.
Not without a lot of power behind it. Generally speaking, the media and government,
Rittenhouse, like Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah, because you can still see that Kyle got off, but it was pretty even Steven in the court of public opinion. You know, obviously half the people were wrong. Because a clear-cut case of self-defense. Not so many people are lucky. Like, imagine if there was no footage of Daniel Penny.
Yeah.
And even still, look at Chauvin. I mean, luckily his lawyers are still trying to get him out. And regardless of what a personal opinion of that specific instance is, I think most rational people can agree that the autopsy reports are what really matter, and it was not first degree.
You know what we've been dancing around this whole time?
What?
No one's put it quite this way, but we've lost the ability in this country, in this era, to simply interrogate the facts of a case.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier I had said rape shield laws need to go away, and that's what the rape shield laws do, is they protect the victim of a rape from having to testify, from having to be questioned in any way about the rape. And that is wrong. We're not trying to re-traumatize a victim. We're trying to interrogate the facts of the case.
We're trying to. A man's freedom hangs in the balance, and we need to know all the facts. It doesn't matter if you make this allegation, you need to answer for it.
Wait,
Well, yeah, I
hold
mean,
on.
in the first case, we need to know if a rape took place. That's the
Second.
immediate concern. That's why we need the we need the rape kit, blah 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 blah, all that good shit. We need the testimony. We need to know what happened, and
I
we need
need.
to establish facts.
Wait a minute.
We need
Wait,
a
Tragic is trying to say something.
timeline.
Sorry.
Oh,
Go on.
can you clarify the rape shield law for me again?
It prevents a rape shield law prevents like a cross examination of the rape victim.
Wait a minute.
I don't know
It
if it's
violates
illegal,
the due
illegal
process of the
compelling-
accused.
Illegal compelling to take the stand.
That is. I'm not an expert in this shit, but that's a blatant the Constitution says that you have a right to confront your accuser.
Yes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's blatantly unconstitutional, and it's that's the reason we have the right to confront the accuser is because of the need to interrogate the facts of the case.
Because
It's
men
not
read,
about interrogating the victim. It's about interrogating the facts of the case.
yeah, because men wrote the law and feminists destroyed it, or are trying to destroy it.
Well, that's one way to put it.
Well, I mean, things like rape shield laws were, I believe, championed by Andrea Dworkin.
Probably.
But see, all right, and again, if you're going to take away a man's freedom, he should have the right to not only face his accuser, and if he's
Or fight
convicted,
his own freedom.
yeah,
Fight for his freedom.
yeah, and if you find him to be guilty, then he's guilty. We interrogate the facts, we question all the witnesses, and we heard the testimony. He says it was consensual, and she said, but you called me like a day later saying you wanted to go again. Did you call me a day later and say you wanted to go again? Well, yeah. It's kind of hard to say I was right.
I mean, the forensic science has also advanced well enough that we can make pretty good determinations whether or not penetration or other things was forceful or consensual. And I mean, if you're getting down with a woman and right off the bat she wants you to like choke her and slap her around, you might want to rethink doing any of that.
Or you might want to get a record of her asking for it.
Again, having that phone call, like
cover your ass. But I mean, like if you're in a long-term long-term relationship with someone and you guys get a little freaky, I mean, then you generally
yeah, that's where
can
trust,
read the
a different
room
level of trust
and be like, okay, I'm not gonna
Yeah, but again, it's if you got the forensic evidence to say, oh, well, again, here's her texting me, hey, baby, I like when you choked me out the other day. Can I get some more?
Mattress girl.
Mattress fucking girl.
That was a very that was a tough one too, because we had that evidence, we had messages, but there was outside interference blocking that.
Yeah, the college wanted it to be reviewed and like they wanted jurisdiction over it. Like fuck no, you don't get jurisdiction.
I agree with Tragic, and like it or was it Will that was saying if somebody accuses you of something, and then in the reverse, if you can prove without a shadow of a doubt that accusation was knowingly false and malicious to target you, that person, I believe this should, I'm a little bit extreme here. I believe for any crime that should be the recourse. You accuse me of Grand Theft Auto, and I didn't steal the car. That and I can prove in court that you fully well knew that I didn't, and you were trying to cause problem with me. That person should pay the consequences of a Grand Theft Auto charge.
I'm sorry, Red Pepper, for reading text aloud.
I don't think a rapist or a rape accuser should get raped, but maybe she should.
No, she should face the jail sentence
as if she were a
Should
rapist.
face the penalty, and I'm right there with you. I use
everything.
Rape as kind of an egregious example, but I hold the same thing. Any false accusation, perjury in general. You're not the accuser in a specific case, but you lied to either get somebody off or to get somebody convicted, and it's caught out as a lie. You should face the penalties that the accused faced. And I don't care if you're
Or
lying to
would
try and
have
get
if-
them off. Yeah. I don't care if you're lying to try and get them off, if you're lying to try and get them accused. If you are lying to try and influence the outcome of the trial and get rape or anything else, my personal thought is if you're doing demonstrably lying in court or demonstrably lying in a accusation of a crime, the malice is automatically baked into the cake. I don't think you have to prove intent. It's an act that's evil in and of itself, and you chose to do it.
Yeah.
So if the accused is facing 15 to 20 criminally, or if the accused is facing fines of $20,000 to $30,000 in a civil thing, if they can demonstrate that you lied to try and influence the outcome of the trial, either way, you should face exactly that penalty. Well, I think if it's like if you're the accuser and it's a false accusation, your penalty should be more severe, starting with your lowest penalty being the highest penalty they could face.
Yes.
So if it's a rape accusation and they're facing 15 to 20, your minimum should be like 20 to 25.
Well, yeah, in simpler terms, we should start taking this shit seriously.
Yes. All right. So again,
How many people?
But
I was just going to quickly say, like, how many people in the last, 4 years have we caught on watching C-SPAN or whatever, people perjuring themselves within Congress or to...
all the time.
Yeah, we see it all, and there's nothing. There's no
Every other
recourse.
person.
If there was that recourse to say, well, if you are going to perjure yourself within a court setting, then there will be consequences to your intentional actions.
Yes.
But I've got to go one further on that too, because there are judges that will see a person demonstrably lie, and the judge themselves will not call the person out on it. They will not refer for, I had to deal with a judge who refused to call somebody a liar, didn't want to even imply that somebody was not being true, no matter how egregious the lie. If you can demonstrate that, the judge should be disbarred and removed from the bench immediately.
Oh, see, now that's something. Let's take Judge Merchan, whatever the fuck his name is, the Trump judge. Now, we may not be able to
Mr. Yes,
prosecute him legally in the court system for what he does on the bench, but you know what we can do? We can subdox him. Now, let me explain what subdoxing is in my brain here, because I just made up the word. Subdoxing is when you don't give away the address or contact information, but you do release their records.
I don't think that's doxing at all. That's more a review.
Well, with it in the case of a judge, I think it's the public's right to know.
Yeah, like Critical said, like judges' rulings are usually public knowledge because.
Yep.
But there's details within those rulings too.
I mean,
in the case of that particular judge, he wouldn't allow the defense to mount the defense.
Yeah.
That shit needs to be widely known and better publicized.
You can't have a judge acting as prosecutor or defense.
But
the whole notion of neutrality is central to the position.
But you can't. You shouldn't have a judge with a clear. You can't have a judge with a conflict of interest. His daughter was a Democratic donor, and she also. I can hear myself. Yeah, I can hear myself.
His daughter was making bank hand over fist, raising funds against Trump.
Yes, that is a clear. What's the word for? Yeah, clear. It's an ethical violation.
Wasn't even allowed to speak about that.
Yes, it's an ethical violation, and you also put a massive gag order on him. Like he can't talk about how, but the defense can, the prosecution can talk all they want, but he can't say shit. How is this fair? How is this legal? How is this just?
It's not. It's also not constitutional.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll change with the changing of the administration. Even though that's technically a state's issue, there can be some contention because the big man's getting back into the big house. I mean, I shouldn't say the big house, the White House, and maybe there can be some revenge of a justice nature, because I mean, taking revenge on that to root out corruption, I don't see that as the idiom of revenge.
But you know what gets me? This is what gets me, and I keep saying this. I'm going to continue to say this. If they wanted to destroy Trump, if they wanted not for him not to be president again, they should have ignored him. They should have never went after him. They should have let him. They should have let him scream in a room, and let him scream and scream. But the moment they started going after him, the moment they started firing their arrows and trying to take him down, you made it public.
They legitimized them.
Every single trial, every single charge that they filed against him increased his vote turnout and count by 1 to 3%, and the convictions probably raised it by a good 5. And Red, what he's referring to is Judge Mershon, the guy in the
hush money case. The hush money.
The hush money case. Very conflicted. His daughter, Democrat fundraiser, making money left and right over the charges being filed against Trump and Trump going to trial and everything. This goes beyond the appearance of a conflict. This is a major ethical violation.
Yes, it
is. And here's the thing too. His treatment of the trial. Now, most of it is, state law and state function, but his treatment of a number of things violates rules of evidence, violates
due process,
federal laws, due process, citizens' rights. He's crossed the line multiple times to making it, even if the underlying charges are purely a state function, he's crossed the line to making certain parts of the trial federal matters. The trial can be thrown out numerous ways on violations of due process and citizens' rights, civil rights, the things that he did that were unethical, unjust, and illegal on a federal level can spike the trial. He's still allowing it to go forward to sentencing and everything when the verdict on the trial depended on testimony that the Supreme Court has ruled cannot be considered.
But it gets even worse than that, Will. He told in a case of this magnitude, the charges must be agreed upon. What was the crime must be agreed upon. You can't say, oh well, he was wrong for this charge, but we don't all agree on that. It doesn't matter. It had to be unanimous for this level of trial.
It's been almost 3 hours, guys. I'm about to head.
God damn it! All right, we should be heading out of 10. But rock on. But really quickly before I close out, again, he was instructing him it doesn't matter which charges you agree was wrong, as long as you agree that he did something wrong.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
That is, and that's a clear violation of the law. They have to agree on what the crime is. You can't just say, oh well, he stole a candy bar from one store. No, he didn't steal a candy bar from one store. He stole from that store. Well, we agree that he did something, so he's guilty of something. So he's guilty.
Yeah, but Trump's legal team is currently fighting all this, and you will see it go to higher circles of court. But I think it's all going to be circumvented because he's won the presidency. I think he's just going to send the federal law dogs after them, and hopefully
go fuck himself.
He'll get his revenge, and we'll get justice.
All right, guys, I'm gonna close out. All right,
fuck out of here.
See, wow. What about to say? Goddamn, I forgot my outro. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out. Again, we were hosting for Sanguine this week. Like I said, the first Friday of each month, me and will alternate. Not me, Mo. Me and Adam will alternate. So the 7th of February will be Will. God damn it, Adam. Shit, Mr. Adam. And then the 7th of
All white
March.
people do not look the same here. Jeez.
Well, technically, Adam is Hispanic.
I know.
But the 7th of
Still
March.
doesn't look like me.
Fine. The 7th of March will be me and Mitch and everybody again. So look forward to that. And then we will be back on our regular scheduled time, the 6th. So again, look forward to it.
January 6th.
Oh shit!
Never forget.
It'll be a special stream. Thank you
Anytime
guys.
I'm on your stream, it's special.
It is.
Guys, we're going in.
Thank you guys for coming out. Honestly, you guys are awesome. So say goodbye to nice people.
Bye to the nice people.
Nice people. Who are these nice people you keep
Bye
talking
to the
about?
nice people.
Oh, Red Feather's a nice person.
Bye to the rest. Bye to the rest of the people. I think you outnumber the nice ones.
Ouch. All right.
Adios, muchachos.
Ladders.
Closing time. Time for you to go out to the places you will be from. I know who I wanna take me home. I know who I wanna take me home. I know who I wanna take me home. Take me home. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.